Welcome to UpperEdge on Full Throttle TV for tonight's London Recreational Racing Cup Series powered by Road Life event. We're just moments away from getting underway with tonight's racing program. But first, let's take a moment to thank the people that make it possible. London Recreational Racing. London Recreational Contracting has gained a remarkable reputation as an industry leader in concrete pool and spa construction by focusing on three key factors: quality, creativity, and outstanding customer service. A proud sponsor of countless racing vehicles and events, London Recreational is a leader on and off the track. The Circle Alliance. The Circle Alliance is a digital and online global marketing firm, providing marketing, promotional, and advertising platforms. The Circle Alliance showcases a diverse collection of musical artists, male and female models, and business organizations using a vast variety of digital and online sources to market clients' products and services worldwide. The Circle Alliance is the vehicle for your vision. Our Expression Studio, a small digital studio with corporate-style passion, creativity, and capability. Our Expression has a diverse clientele base that extends from massive web development and CMS projects to the finest detail in a graphic design project for a low-budget race team. Motor Components. Facet Purelator self-priming high-lift electronic fuel pumps are the specified choice of both domestic and foreign nameplate original equipment diesel and gasoline engine manufacturers.
And we welcome you to the Texas Motor Speedway here tonight, race 1 of round 2, live here from Texas, the London Recreational Racing 200 here. And back in the booth here tonight, Michael Skinner. And Michael, they always say things are bigger in Texas, and one thing definitely bigger here tonight, the pressure on these drivers knowing they need to perform with this first race of the round.
Yeah, for sure. This really sets a tone for, the rest of the races here in this round. Having a good finish here really makes it a lot less stressful going to the next two, knowing if you just, put together two similar runs, you have a good shot at being in. Somebody we got to look for is Raleigh Grant Davis. He put on a great, pressure cooker last week, took to the last restart and ended up pulling it off and, getting into this round. Now we're getting into some of the tracks that I think he's, better suited at, these mile and a half. So I look for him to continue the momentum. Michael O'Reilly was extremely strong on these tracks earlier in the season, so he's another person that I look forward to. But as you and I both know, Texas is one of those places where it's extremely tricky, especially off two.
Absolutely. That was definitely a corner to watch last week as well, and it's looking like it's going to be the same here tonight. So, mentioned the first race of round 2. Here is your grid here tonight. You can see it's dropped down from 12 drivers to 8. Austin Hartenfels, Corey Hoover, Raleigh Grant Davis, Michael Araya, Michael Fennelson, Shane Terrian, Carl Shedd, and Walker Thomas all advancing into the round of 8, and then it'll cycle out to just 4 for the final 3 races of the season. And is no just one race deal for last round. They're racing the final 3 races, whoever the 4 are. And Ryan Dyson, Trevor Apollo, Adam de Blasio, and Joseph Tice were the 4 eliminated from championship competition last week. So now we go back to the track here. Not a whole lot of time left in practice. Sound like they're doing their drivers meeting here tonight. About 40 seconds left there, and then we head into our 15-minute qualifying session. And mentioned this when we went to Chicagoland, and Michael can attest to this. The first round is always the trickiest because any sort of mistake and you're already in a hole. And it's really only a 3-race mini-season.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really important to just come out here and have you don't have to go out here and set the world on fire. You don't have to go out here, lead the most laps, win the race. Getting out of here with, a top 6 finish, I think, is going to get the job done here. Just be smooth, be consistent, and you got to remember you're not really racing everybody else around you. You're racing those other, 8 guys. At the end when it gets to this part of the end of the season, just like in real life, we kind of see some of the drivers stop going so much for the win but going to beat their fellow competitor, that's going to be in the next round. Because when you get this far in the end of the season, you're this close to the championship, your mind kind of gets taken away from having the race win so much and worrying about that championship.
And as you can see, cars taking to the track here. It's going to be 15 minutes with 2 rounds of qualifying. One fun note that was sent out earlier, the Real Life Texas Motor Speedway getting a repave here after the race in the 2017 season. Obviously, iRacing probably not going to get that for a while. But yeah, it was about, I believe it's 20 degrees, turns 1 and 2, 24 degrees in 3 and 4. So should be interesting. Obviously, here on iRacing, not getting it for a while, but we'll just deal with the Texas we have.
This one's perfect. I like this one.
Absolutely. Some people love it and some people hate it, and the drivers who love it are going to do very well here tonight. And already saw a little incident from a driver exiting too there. Comes up in such a hurry, it seems like, off the corners.
Yeah, it's one of those corners. I really don't know where to compare it to. Maybe, maybe Rockingham is probably one of the closest places that I kind of really compare it to, or maybe turn 4 at Charlotte. When you get to that apex, you want to get back to the gas because in your mind, you have a ton of room, on exit. But for whatever reason, at those 2, 3 corners that I mentioned, the track, almost seems to flatten out almost immediately. Not as big as it is here at Texas, but a similar transition, I would say. So it catches you by surprise. Sometimes you'll get a little loose and you'll tank slap the wall. Sometimes you just get tight and you just run the front right into it. So that's one of those things where later in the run, you're gonna have to start diming into the corner a little bit different. You're gonna have to run, a lot differently than you will at the beginning of, the run with fresh tires.
And haven't seen a lot of people yet, but I was gonna say last time we were at 1.5 miles, it seemed like the high side came in just a little bit. Have to see if we see that start to get running here later into the run. But again, I haven't really seen anybody venture up that far up the track.
Yeah, this isn't one of those places where the high line is really proficient. I think the place where it was the biggest one this year, I think, was Atlanta, where they were extremely high in turn 1. So I'm not sure if we're going to see that kind of extreme way up there, but we're definitely going to see them move up probably 2, maybe 2.5 lanes, especially in 3 and 4, get that good runoff. But most of the time, they're going to be bottom feeders tonight.
So 17 drivers currently in the race at the moment. Have to see if all those take the green flag. Right now you can see there the 24 Raleigh Grant Davis, a clutch move last week to get himself into round 2, and mentioned in his interview he's got a lot of great tracks in this round, Texas being one of his favorites. And Michael, you'd mentioned it earlier, Flat Out Motorsports definitely showed their dominance early, and obviously they feel very confident at this track.
Yeah, it almost seems like, later here in the season, we're starting to get back to tracks that really suit, their team's driving style. We're getting back to, 1.5 miles, which, was their really big strong point at the beginning of the season, especially for Michael Arias. He just ran away with the first few races. So we're going to have to see if everybody is kind of caught up to them, here, or if it's going to continue a trend of Flat Out Motorsports on these 1.5 miles.
They still do have Michael Arias and Raleigh Grant Davis there fighting for that championship. As I mentioned, 8 drivers in the field tonight, still with a chance to go to the Final 4 and run for that championship. I must say it's an interesting format. Obviously, not what we see in real life. It's for the final round of 4. It's 3 races to decide it all, where normally it's 1 race, so it gives more emphasis on running as hard as you can for all 3 races.
Yeah, and that's such a big thing with having a good first race. Like I said, it's not really, you don't have to go out here and win. That's the big thing. Is of course it helps your case at the end of the day, but risking a chance for the win is a lot more detrimental to the rest of your season at this point than it was at the beginning. Like you said, it's not, winner take all with 1 race at the end. It's 3 races. So if you win this race, then, it really determines you're going to the next round. But if you don't, that's really where things start to get interesting. If you have one DNF, that's really, I think, going to knock you out.
Absolutely, any sort of mistake, and as we said already in a hole, either 3 races really have to be flawless in order to make it to that Final 4. Watching the 17 here of Samuel Close, the 3-wide Racing League champion this year, in the race here tonight, making his first season start, or scheduled start, and kind of a surprise to see him in the field tonight, but a nice inclusion. Me and Michael both know him very well and should add some excitement here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And this is one of the places where he's pretty good, is on these miles and a halves, especially on longer runs. So he's going to be somebody that I'm going to be, excited to watch, because I know how he is. I know who he is. He's a nice guy. So it's, like I said, it's going to be fun to watch, especially somebody that we know personally.
So we were mentioning Flat Out Motorsports earlier. You can already see their driver on top of the board, the 44 of Michael LRR. Really no surprise to see him at the top, but Adam de Blasio, his first win came at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles. Not very similar to Texas, but he's up there in second. Andy Glazik started on pole last week. Unfortunately got hit it into the wall early in that race and didn't end up finishing. He's currently third. Austin Hartenfeld's fourth. Corey Hoover going to round out your top 5 there, and should be coming close to wrapping up round 1 of qualifying here. Bradley Burke there in 6th. He was in last night's Hardline Truck Series event there, and just about had it won. Unfortunately came home in 2nd. Very strong run for him. I'm sure he's looking to back that up again here tonight.
Yeah, a little surprised to see the 45 of Carl Shedd down there in 10th place. He didn't have, a stellar practice, and he's kind of backing up the same times he ran in practice here in qualifying. So a little surprised that we're, being here at 1.5 miles, that, he isn't as strong as he was, at the beginning of the year getting these poles.
And the one thing that still surprised me, again, you look at Carl's statistics here for the whole season. No wins, but he's been so strong the beginning portion of the season. Just couldn't get the checkered flags. He finally started catching them, and his season's been on fire ever since. But again, hasn't gotten that elusive first win of the season yet.
I think my one to watch tonight is going to be the 29 of Austin Hartenfeld. When we've been to their 2 sister tracks, which I say sister, which I mean, Atlanta and Charlotte, they're, probably the 3 most similar, in style of driving, I guess. Austin Hartenfeld, was a bottom feeder. He ran the bottom of Atlanta when everybody else ran the top, almost won that one. He ran extremely well at Charlotte, he almost won that one. So I think tonight he's going to be extremely strong, especially if we're all going to be stuck on the bottom. That kind of seems to be, almost his bread and butter, is right there on that white line.
And the first race of round 1, he won at Chicagoland, advanced his way into round 1. I'm sure he'd like to do the same thing here tonight, not have to worry about the 2 tracks coming up, which are the most opposite from each other. And Michael, could be the most difficult to try and avoid trouble, being Martinsville next week, and then Talladega going to decide who makes the Final 4.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy one. But I love the excitement, here in UpperEdge, and even in, the real world, I'm sure everybody hates it, but for us fans, it's entertaining, and, I think it's something more we need. I wish we'd, like UpperEdge, they threw in a road course. That's another interesting thing that NASCAR could take a look at. But having Talladega, that's really fun, and then just having Martinsville, you can go ahead and use that bumper. There's not really any massive consequence. Just move the guy out of the way, and hopefully you can drive away from him.
Absolutely. And one thing to note, not a whole lot of short track in the season. Had Richmond earlier for both the All-Star race and the final race of the regular season. And other than that, I don't think there were too many races on the road or on the short tracks. We do have Phoenix coming up as well. That'll be the second to last race of the season. So it seemed like short tracks coming up later in the season when all the pressure is on the line. It's planned, I'm not sure, but it seems that way.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting the way it kind of went on. I think in what is now the Monster Energy Cup Series, we see what is I think 7 of the final 10 races or something like that, or mile and a halves. Extremely different here, in Upper Edge. You got a road course. You have 3 short tracks. You have Talladega. That's such a massive difference, and I think it makes it even more crucial to have a good round at the racetracks that you feel comfortable at.
And as you can see, the top 8 rolling out there, round number 2 of qualifying underway. So again, the top 8 allowed on the track to try and improve their run, try and knock Michael Araya off the top spot here, see if anybody can get it done. Corey Hoover was the first one out on the track, so he'll be the first one back to the line. We'll see how much he can gain here on this second run here. And slides it through the corner, so he's not going to make it back to the line there. Austin Hartenfels as well, looks like he calls it quits. We had 2 more drivers hop into the session here tonight. The 19 of Jacob Adams and the 88 of Joshua L. Adams. And that makes it 19 cars in the field here tonight. Times already tonight looking very close. Not much separating, really. The top 15, just a couple tenths between each other.
Yeah, the times are extremely close, especially all the way down. The running order. I look at the first, 7 cars. They're all within about a tenth and a half. So that's going to be extremely crucial on who has a short run speed and who has a long run speed. Right now, Michael Araya has that short run speed. Is he going to be able to hang on to that in the long run like we have seen him done before, or is he focusing more on the short run here?
So there's just about 2.5 minutes left here on the clock. Michael Araya is still out front there, sitting on the pole at the moment. Again, Adam de Blasio second, Andy Glazik third, Austin Hartenfels fourth, Corey Hoover fifth there. I thought Glazik was coming back to make another run at it. He's going to pull back in.
One team that's really turned it on here, in the latter part of this, season, is Michael Fendelson, Shane Therian, and Walker Thomas. Those guys have impressed me so much from the beginning of the season here to the end. They've worked together as a group, and just their rise has been incredible.
Absolutely, and they've really been putting the heat on as of late. That last race at New Hampshire, very close, and Shane Therian came so close to almost winning it. Unfortunately, just contact with the 33 Corey Hoover, but definitely a team that's picked up their momentum. And at the right time, I may add as well.
Yeah, so the guys at Evil Motorsports definitely, they definitely figured whatever they were doing wrong at the beginning of the season, they got the gremlins out and just caught fire, almost like the Flat Out Motorsports team did at the beginning of the year. They hit it off at the beginning, but I think the momentum has really shifted to Evil Motorsports.
And it was really interesting to watch there at the beginning of the season. With Flat Out straight out of the gate, winning about 3 races in a row, I believe, the first 3. And it didn't take all too long for the other guys to start catching up, but it was definitely a long stretch before we saw other than a Flat Out Motorsports driver in victory lane.
Yeah, it's just one of those cool things where you see progression. As the season goes on, you can see, maybe the people that took a little bit more practice, the week before, a little bit more time, just seeing the growth is you can really see when people are putting in the time and effort into running better.
30 seconds on the clock. Only Corey Hoover. It's looking like Michael Fendelson on track. Corey comes back to the line. And does not. Actually, he improves his time just a bit there. Fennelson coming back to the line as well. And he does improve as well. But with that, qualifying gonna wrap up. And it's looking like Michael LRR gonna start on the pole here tonight. Adam DeBlasio gonna start second. Andy Gladzik third. Corey Hoover fourth. Austin Hartenfels fifth. Michael Fennelson sixth. Bradley Burke seventh. Walker Thomas eighth. Shane Terry in ninth. And Carl Shedd gonna round out the top 10.
Then you have Joseph Tice starting 11th, Raleigh Grant Davis starting 12th, Ryan Dyson starting 13th, Jamie Dyson starting 14th, Tom Story starting 15th, Samuel Close starting 16th, Jake Watson is going to start 17th, Jacob Adams is going to start 18th, and Joshua L. Adams is going to start 19th.
And just getting ready to grid here. Just trying to think of a guy who I should pick to win the race here tonight. And I think I'm going to put my money here, Michael, tonight on that 29 of Austin Hartenfeld, starting fourth. Excuse me, on the grid here tonight. But again, he won the last time we were at a mile and a half there at Chicagoland. So looking to see him back in victory lane tonight.
I think I'm going to go stick with old reliable. I think I'm going to go with the 44 car of Michael LRR. I feel like we're back at a place he's more comfortable with. You know, back in a mile and a half, similar to the ones he was dominant at the beginning of the year. You know, he's on the pole tonight. You know, made it to the next round. I definitely see him having a strong run tonight.
But Michael, the most important thing here tonight, we finally have the Mustang pace car back in front of the field. They took the rough out of it, and finally the Mustang back out in front.
I wonder why they did that.
It is a different Mustang, however. It's not the gold one we're accustomed to. But nevertheless, a I guess, road course car on the field pacing it here tonight. So just waiting for about 2 drivers here, and then we'll be set to pace and get the green flag here for, again, race 1 of round 2. Really the round that decides who's going to run for the championship.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be, you know, a bout between aggression and, you know, and staying conservative here tonight. You know, this is one of those places where once you all get stuck around the bottom, it's going to be a little tricky to pass. So you're going to have to time your moves. You're going to have to, like I said, be patient, take a perspective on, you know, where you're at in the championship. Because, you know, we all know that these guys, you know, they say that they're not really thinking about it. But you and I both know, and, you know, in the driver's minds, you know, we know if we pass that guy, we're 1 point up on him going into the, you know, the next race.
Absolutely. So last week it was about a one groove racetrack. Obviously here a lot more room to spread out and a lot more room for the action to ensue. Like 2 cars didn't take the grid here tonight, or at least at the moment. One surprising one to me is the 32 of Andy Gladzik was starting third and looking like he's on the grid. And the 22 Jake Watson also did not get to the grid. So 166 laps tonight. Patience, as you said, Michael, going to have to preach it all night, especially for these drivers racing for that championship 4. One mistake and it could all be over. This is a season on the line and it starts here tonight for these 8 drivers. I guess I should say restart. They've already had to endure this mini race season once. Now they got to do it one more time here, and then the final 4 race it for all the prize. Pace car is in. Green flag is out. We're underway here at Texas.
Good start there by the 29 of Austin Hartenfeld. Looks like he was going to make a move there on the 44.
Got right up to the bumper. Now he's going to fall in line. And heap second there. The fight is on for third there between the 94 and 51.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see here how much a 29 pushes the 44 here at the beginning. You know, kind of depend on, that's gonna really determine how the pace is gonna be the rest of the race.
much of a fight there. You can see the 51 up to third. Again, had such a good night last night, looking like he's continuing the momentum there, and one driver we haven't gotten to talk a lot about this season. And back here in the field, it's looking like a bit of a mess, still side by side throughout.
Yeah, these guys are definitely going at it right here at the beginning, knowing how difficult it's going to be to get track position later. Got to get everything you can, early on with these fresh tires. But back to Bradley Burke, he's another person that I've seen a lot of growth in throughout the year. He kind of struggled there at the beginning, really, couldn't really find a step. But later on in his season, really once a chase kind of started, and even a few races before then, it seemed like he really picked up his pace and kind of found his groove, and he's been running, more or less in the top, 5 or 6 on a consistent basis.
So up front, Michael Araya has not gotten too far out ahead of the 29 of Austin Hartenfeld, just kind of stalking him at the moment. We'll see if he can find any way around that 44. Andy Glazik is back out on track, already 1 lap down, and you can see just in front of these leaders. So again, another unfortunate start here for that 32. Definitely got a fast car. Just seemed like he can't catch a break for, I believe, only his second start of the season. Still seeing a bit of a trend here tonight. We saw last week at New Hampshire is, the 28 just about into the wall, had to duck it real left to make sure he avoided it. It seemed like last week at New Hampshire, nobody could really get away from each other. It's looking like that may be the same situation here tonight.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this is one of those places where everybody can almost, run identical speeds, once the tires really fall off. So I think, we're going to have a close race tonight, but I think we're going to see one individual, really have that long run speed down and really just kind of pull away from everybody.
And up front there, Shane Turner was looking like he was going to be able to make the move underneath the 94 of Adam de Blasio there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it done. Now he's got the 33 of Corey Hoover right on his back bumper. It's looking like Corey's going to be able to get to the outside. Just a bit farther back there, the 24 Raleigh Grant Davis. Noted earlier that he raced his way into the second round by winning. Obviously didn't need to do that, but was able to secure it that way, and running 12th at the moment. Not the best of running spots, but still very early into this 166 lap race. Already seeing a couple drivers get very close to that outside wall. The rear end kicks out a bit and just about slapped the wall.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of patience out of some of these guys right now, a little farther back in the pack. And for me, you can see kind of the guys in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. These guys are, they're sideways, they're running hard. And, farther back in the pack, you're seeing, cars let each other go, being patient, knowing that they still have we're on lap 9, we have a, long way to go.
Absolutely. And they also know what's at stake here tonight for a lot of these guys with the blue spoilers there, indicating the blue spoilers and splitters there in the back and front of the car, indicating those are the championship contenders there. And 8 of them on the track here tonight.
We see a really, heated battle here for 3rd, 4th, 5th. Really highly contested. They're all nose to tail. It looks like the 51 might be holding them up just a little bit. So we're going to have to see if these guys are going to get a little bit more aggressive, later on here in the run.
See Tarian moves up the track just a bit with the 33 going by. I think that may be the first time tonight I've seen anybody try that high side, whether that was on purpose or not. I'm not too sure there. And already you can see the momentum gained by that 38 back to the outside of the 33 of Corey Hoover. he's going to be able to make the run. He just slides back in with the 5 of Joseph Tice just behind. Hoover a little slip out of the corner there.
Yeah, the 5 of Joseph Tice is one of those people that I'm really shocked that he's out of the running. You know, he was so good earlier on in the season, even, you know, midway through, but it just seemed, you know, in the latter half of the season, he just started having a lot of bad luck, you know, and even at Washington was having some connection issues. So, you know, I know his season didn't really go the way he wanted it to, but I'm sure he'd really like to get a win, you know, for the end of the season.
So Terry going to try again there into 3. He's got the preferred lane this time. They're going to be side by side off the corner there. And seeing the same race here again, actually, tonight. 10th, 11th, and 12th. Saw this last week at New Hampshire with Raleigh Grant Davis, Ryan Dyson, and Walker Thomas running almost actually in these exact same positions. Seems like these guys just cannot get away from each other. Obviously, the 24 and 18 advancing last week. Unfortunately, Dyson was not able to. But kind of interesting to see that. It's looking like it's playing out again here tonight.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing about racing is it always just seems to work out that way, that if you're racing, you know, you just happen to be around the guy you're racing for, you know, for the, you know, championship spot, you know, or if you wrecked him the week before, if you got an altercation, some fists were thrown, you qualify next to the guy and you run next to him all race. That's just one of those great things that you know, always seems to work out here in stock car racing.
You can see the 17 of Samuel Close appears to have blown a motor there. Saw some smoke down the back straightaway. See what happened in the 17. Making his first start here tonight, as we mentioned, the 3-wide racing champion for this season. And just gets loose off turn 2. Unfortunately, hits that inside wall pretty heavily, and obviously you can see all the damage done there.
Yeah, and that's a very rare sight. We don't see, you know, the 17 of Sam Close making those mistakes very often. Unfortunate, as you know, his first start, you know, made it about 14 laps where he has major damage. But definitely new experience, I'm sure, for him.
Racing with a much different crowd here tonight than what he's accustomed to. Again, actually a 2-time champion this season, so unfortunately not looking like he's going to finish it out the way he wants to. Thankfully, he's got 5 more races in the season here to try and end it on a high note. You can see there the battle for a third. Adam de Blasio underneath trying to get by this 51 of Bradley Burke there. The 3 still going to race side by side, and I thought de Blasio was going to slide up just a bit, but looking like he caught it. Now de Blasio able to clear, so he's up to 3rd. That puts Burke back to 4th.
Yeah, what I'm noticing here, just looking at the lap times, the 29 of Austin Hartfels made that really strong run there at the beginning, but it looks like his lap times are kind of tapering off a little bit. He's about 2 tenths slower, you know, than our leader, you know, last lap around. It looks like he's about a tenth slower than the guy in 3rd. So curious to see if he ran them off and if he struggles the rest of this run.
So it is looking like that. He's about 2 seconds behind now. As you said, made that very strong run earlier and seemed like he's going in the wrong direction. The 19 of Jacob Adams around on the back straightaway, and that's going to bring out the caution. See what happened to this 19. May have been the same situation as Sam. Like he already had a bit of right side damage there, possibly into the wall already.
Yeah, you know, that's one of those situations where I'm sure that damage really didn't help, that looseness there, you know, especially coming off the corner.
And almost the exact same tire tracks as the 17 there. Looking like he got into it much heavier than the 17. Unfortunately, it's looking like his night may be over as well. Now, they do have the option to repair those engines. Just going to be the question of if you stay the 30 minutes to actually do that.
Well, Justin, there will be no question about it. Everybody will be coming down pit road.
Absolutely. So this is essentially going to reset our fuel run here. Obviously, most of the times these guys don't race to that number. They mostly come in earlier for tires, it appears. And obviously we're not going to know this time around for this first run when those green flag stops will start. Thinking maybe 35 to 40 laps if we get a long green flag run.
Are you seeing a little bit of damage or right side damage on the 33 car there, Justin, or am I just lagging a little bit?
I do see some right side damage, and we know he's been pretty loose off turn 2. He possibly could have tagged it with that right side, and obviously quite a bit of damage actually there on the front end.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, when he kind of got that damage, because I noticed it, probably about 2 or 3 laps ago. But it really did. It almost looked like, he kind of started his run up to the front with that damage. So a little curious there on if he's going to get it fixed or if he's just going to take the track position.
Well, he is staying on pit road, so it's looking like he will stay in and get it all repaired. And luckily gets that early caution to be able to do that. Probably under green flag conditions, he most likely would not have stayed in this long. So of course, Michael Araya, the first one off pit road there. Austin Hartenfels comes off second. Shane Terrian third. Adam de Blasio fourth, and Michael Fendelson fifth there.
Yeah, the biggest loser there was a 51 of Bradley Burke. He can't really be happy with, that pit stop right there. Lost quite a few positions.
So that'll be the test to see if he can get back up through the field and reclaim all that track position. If he came down fourth, and obviously came out eighth there. So with this, Austin Hartenfeld is looking like he's going to get another shot at this lead. It's going to be the question of Michael, because it seemed like that early run, he may have pushed it just a bit too hard. And we saw the lap time seem to suffer from it. If he makes that run again, or if he takes it a bit easier this time.
It really depends on when these guys are come down to going to come down to pit regularly. We were on lap 21, and it seems like whenever we're here with UpperEdge, they never really go past lap 30, on a fuel run. It's a very rare occasion. So, had he ran it out, he had about, I think it was 9 laps left to lap 30. So it really just depends on when your fuel window is on how hard he's probably going to run. Another big loser on pit stops was the 24 Raleigh Grant Davis. He had been stuck behind those guys for quite a while, and he managed to get by his posse that he's been hanging out with the past few weeks. But with a bad pit stop, kind of like his teammate, he's now stuck behind those guys again and actually loses about 3 positions.
And yeah, she said the posse there, 9th, 10th, and it's looking like 13th there. Walker Thomas may have lost a bit of positions as well in that stop, but lights are out on the pace car, so looking like we'll be back to green here on lap 25 of 166 laps scheduled here tonight. And the big winner on that exchange was the 32 of Andy Glazik there. Gets back on the lead lap. And looking like he'll get another shot at it.
Yeah, he did a great job there staying on the lead lap, running good lap times right in front of the 44 Michael Araya.
And I think that just shows how strong of a car he has there. Just unfortunately looking like he missed the grid. Not exactly sure what the deal was there. But good to see he's back out there in 16th. Last car on the lead lap. Currently no cars a lap down, but the 22 Jake Watson never took the grid, and Samuel Close and Jacob Adams are both disconnected from the server here tonight. So
the one thing I'm going to be looking for right before we go to restart here is the 38 is going to be on the back bumper of the 44. If the 29 car is going to get a good enough restart to kind of squeeze in.
Green flag back out. A great start there by the 44
really
of Araya.
Yeah, he's going to jump right in there behind the 44 car there. Good restart by the 29 and the 94 there. The 94 might even have a chance to stay in front of third there.
Battling on the high side, looking like Terrian's going to get that position. And I thought the 45 may have gotten into the wall just a little bit. Saw the rear end kick out. He might be fine, however.
Yeah, if the 94, the 38's loose, looks like the 94 is going to come by and take some air off that right side there. So it comes out with third, and the 45 car is going to get by the 38. That really hurt the 14, Shane Terrian's teammate there. It made him lose about almost probably 3 positions there in the long run.
So Shed going to try, thought he was going to try the inside there underneath the 38 of Terrian. Mentioned wasn't a great qualifying for Carl Shed there in the 45, but he's up to 5th there and steadily working through the field. And, once again, seems like all this season, once again, a strong car here tonight.
Yeah, tonight,
and the 51 of Bradley Burke
sideways.
And he's into the wall very hard there. Looking like we may get another caution going to stop on the back straightaway. No caution as of yet. And there it is. And turn 2 claims another driver here tonight. Pretty heavy front end damage on that 51.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where he was right, next to the 5 car, had a good run on him, looked like he was going to get by him. Looking, I'm not really sure, if being next to me, he spun the car out, or if he just made a little bit of light contact with the 5 car, on the outside. And, knowing how these cars react, that could have easily just spun him out as well.
Taking another look at it from a little bit higher, and not sure if he got so close to Tice there that he wanted to make sure he didn't get into him, if it was just a bit of netcode, but didn't.
Yeah, because I kind of slowed it down there, Justin, and it almost looks like you said there, it was a good point. It looks like there was a bit of netcode there. Personal opinion, because I looked about, coming right off the corner, right as soon as that 51 car got close enough to the 5 for, in my opinion, where netcode to kind of take over, the 5 car started darting left and the 51 started heading left. So I'm going to put this one on netcode. Theoretically they touched. Very disappointing for the 51 though.
Absolutely, was having a great night up until then. Thankfully did not blow the motor, but obviously probably going to have an extended stay on pit road. And speaking of pit road, everyone on there at the moment, except for the 38 of Shane Terrian and the 32 of Andy Glazik, they all stayed out on the track. And Michael, that seemed like quite a short run to come back in. It's probably only about 3 laps there.
Yeah, but you and I both know that, at the end of the race, you want those tires. It looks like we had a lot of 2-tire, takers there, so a very, mixed bag there. The 38 car got a lap lead, add to his point total. That puts him 1 point, to the good if somebody finishes, behind him. So, very interesting strategy. Puts our, dominant car so far of the night back to about 6th place.
Corey Hoover and Raleigh Grant Davis both taking 2 tires on that exchange, and the rest with 4. And obviously Bradley Burke still on pit road there.
Yeah, that's a tough situation for the 51. He looked extremely quick there tonight. Definitely looked like he had a top 5 or 6 car again. Here at Texas. Like he has the last few weeks. Getting in a good rhythm. Just a little bit over aggressive there on lap 28.
So the lights out again on top. The Mustang pace car back in front of the field there. Second caution of the night. Second caution due to turn 2. Just cars getting loose off of it. Again, saw that last week as well with the 33 of Corey Hoover there. He brought out the first caution on lap 1. Just really trying to make sure he didn't get into the wall, and spun it out on the back straightaway. Obviously, we know how his night ended and how the race went there, but he's up to 3rd there with his 2 tires. Raleigh Grant Davis with 2 as well, and the rest of the field on 4. Should be an interesting restart here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, especially with how loose the 33 car has been. You and I both know that it seems like if you take 2 tires here, on iRacing, it immediately loosens that car up, even with 3 laps on it. So something to definitely watch here going down and into turn and coming off of turn 2. See just if it makes him a little bit looser than he's already been.
Pace car is away. The 38 is off. Green flag back in the air. Lap 31 here. Great start by the 38, Shane Terrian there. Gets 2/10 on the 33 of Hoover, and 3 wide goes to 29, 44, and 32. And Glazick
Definitely a
falling
bold
back
move
quick.
there by the 29, trying to get by those guys with 2 tires. You know, that puts him in front of the 44 Michael LRR. If he can pick those guys up a little bit faster and get on the lead, you know, he might be gone.
And the biggest loser on that restart is that 32 of Andy Glazick there. Restarted second all the way back to 9th, now back to 10th and fading fast. So obviously that was
Looks
not...
like we're gonna have a battle for the lead here. Looks like those 2 tires might be just a little bit better than those 3-lap-old tires.
Hoover on the back bumper of Terrian there, and Raleigh Grant Davis not too far behind as well. Second and third on those 2 tires. Of course, Austin Hartenfeld is up to 4th there with 4. And past that 44, Michael Rye at the moment, who's currently 5th.
Looks like the 24's coming to the pit. Looks like the 29's also there. We have a train battle for the lead. Looks like that stack up's going to cost the 24 of Raleigh Grant Davis a position here, but it looks like the 33 might be getting under the 38. He might be able to take away that first position on those new tires.
They got a battle for second there and a battle for third just behind as well. 38 to the line first that time around. But Hoover with the preferred lane into 1 and 2. And it's looking like his teammate Austin Hartenfeld will follow him as well. Side by side now with Terrian. It's looking like staying out. Finally going to pay its toll for the 38. Led about 6 laps out in front for Shane. Oh, and that 29, a big wiggle.
Got really loose, and so did the 38.
And that was not a good position to get loose there. Yeah, 3 wide, and just about 2 cars losing it there.
Looks like the 24 made a wide decision there. You know, made a championship decision, and decided not to take it 3 wide. The 29 definitely knows that he's got to keep the 44 behind him. You know, if he's going to have a shot at this win. So you see him really running down on his door, trying to make him loose, making sure he can't get by.
Absolutely saw it in 3 and 4, just how close he got to him. And obviously, we know how strong the 44 Michael Raya is going to be here tonight. It's looking like he gets out in front, Michael. It's going to be the old Michael Raya dominance show here with how that early first run went.
Yeah, but you know, the 29 car is doing a really good job of holding him off right now, and that's really helping the 29's teammate. You know, Corey Hoover, you know, he's out there in clean air. You know, he may not have 4 fresh tires, but he's got, you know, 3-lap-old ones on the left and new ones on the right. So he's not in a bad position. And, you know, but that clean air is definitely worth a few tenths, and he's, you know, slowly but surely just running away from these guys.
Corey Hoover almost in the same position last week at New Hampshire. He's having a very great race, and definitely had a fast car there, just unfortunately couldn't close the deal with a late race incident there. Looking for a redemption race here tonight, looking to punch his way into the final 4.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, that the 2-tire gamble really didn't pay off for the 24 Raleigh Grant Davis. He's you know, dropped like a rock the past few laps. So I'm sure he's, you know, hopefully waiting for another caution here pretty soon that's not him, and hopefully get in and get 4 new ones.
Looking like he's found his best friend once again, the 28 of Ryan Dyson there, and Walker Thomas only about a position back in 12th there. And it's fairly interesting how these guys can't seem to get away from each other. But out in front, Austin Hartenfeld has gotten around the 44 and 38 there to get in clean air, and now chasing down his teammate, the 33 Corey Hoover there. Again, Hoover with 2 tires on that stop. Hartenfeld's with 4. See how big of a difference it makes here.
Yeah, you know, clearly the 4 tires are definitely a lot better. You know, and the 29 car might just be a little bit better than the 33 anyways. But, you know, I'm not looking at this even like if the 33 car loses the position. You know, it's not really, you know, a bad decision. I think if he can stay in the top 5 before we pit again, or before another caution comes up, that's a win. Because, you know, you got to remember, he came in the first pit stop, I think was in 4th, you know, and then had to repair that damage and then go all the way back to about 17th. So, That's a big net gain if he's able to just hang on to a top 5 and we get another caution or some green flag pit stops. He can put four new tires on him.
As you said, this was a fairly big game of those 33 was taking with those 2 tires, just trying to get all that track position back, and luckily he had the cautions fall his way to be able to do that. And doing, as you said, a very good job at the moment, holding off his teammate with just 2 less fresh tires. Now you can see Austin just about to the back bumper of Hoover there, and now Michael Araya underneath the 29 there, trying to get second away. You can see just how close Hartenfeld is getting to the door of Lariah.
Yeah, he definitely knows that 44 car gets out in front. He's going to be extremely hard to catch. So, yeah, the tough part is the 29 car being behind the 33. He's getting a little tight. The 44 just kind of running his own line. And it looks like he's going to get a really good run here. Maybe sneak under him, getting down in the 3.
See 3 and 4 there. Lariah moving up a groove, seeing if he can get any sort of a run exiting.
A big run. We might have to watch out for that some more. That was a massive run there by the 44.
And one, obviously, Hartenfeld didn't have a chance at blocking, so that puts Lariah up front in second there. He's going to try and chase down this 33 Corey Hoover for the lead. Three-way battle, essentially, for that top spot. And the man out in front, only with 2 tires from that last stop. It's looking like at this point, Lariah is there and gets to the inside.
Yeah, the one thing the 33 of Corey Hoover can't really get overzealous here fighting for the lead. He's got to remember he's on, 2 tires instead of 4, and it's really more of a position battle at this point in time because we know the 44 and the 29 are much faster. So the sooner he can get by, so the sooner he lets those guys go by and gets in some cleaner air again, gets back to the bottom. Because right now the only thing he's doing is letting the 45 of Carl Shed and all those other guys with 4 tires letting him creep back up into the battle. Before, as to where now he's running side by side, their lap times are increasingly getting slower and slower.
It's also putting this 29 very close to this battle, and obviously you can see there Lariah falling back in. As you said, Michael, it's a high lane looking like it may have a little bit of speed up there, with Lariah getting up there to get by Hartenfels, and Hoover holding off the 44 on that high side as well. And you can see that's where Lariah wants to run at this point. I think he's caught on.
Looks like he's going to get another big run here. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough to get in the 3, but I think he's going to take it high again and do the same thing he did to his Corey Hoover's teammate and, cross him over here.
Let's see how good of a run
or
he gets
just
there.
pass him straight out.
But definitely looking like that top spot, that top side, definitely has some speed here tonight. Not sure if it's in 1 and 2, but definitely 3 and 4. That definitely seems like the way to go. But Hoover able to get back out in front. Now you can see Hoover move up a groove. And
Getting
so
real
close
there, real sideways. Great driving by these two. You got to give it to the 33 of Corey Hoover. The guy's on 2 tires, and then what about Michael Lariah in the 44? Dude's not afraid to go, anywhere. He goes up to the top of the gray. Just tries everything he can to make a good, clean pass, and we've seen it pay off twice now.
Absolutely. So he gets back out to the front there. Michael Lariah back out on point. Now it's RCA Racing, second and third there.
We're starting to see the 38 car of Shane Therian really struggle on those old tires.
He's back to 10th there. You can see Carl Shed now getting by the 29 of Austin Hartenfels. He's going in the wrong direction.
And on old tires, 3 laps. Who would have thought that it would make this much of a detriment to his run?
Kind of seemed like for a lot of those guys who either stayed out or had 2 tires, Michael, it almost seemed like getting to that high side kind of shuffled them out a bit with everyone going by. At least earlier in the run.
It's just like in one thing that's so great about iRacing is it tries its best to mimic real world stuff, and we see the 33 car still in second. How many times do we hear the commentators for the Cup Series say, oh, 3 people took took 2 tires. The guy that started P1, he's out there still running in the top 5, and everybody else is still struggling or about to get lapped. If you can just get away for those first few laps and then settle and get clean air and let everybody else's tires to kind of equalize, you have a really good chance. But as soon as you get swarmed, kind of like the 24 car did, and now the 38 is doing, once you get swarmed by those guys, it's really hard to kind of hang on, because you're at a disadvantage at this point, with tire wise, and if your car isn't handling correctly, you're at a disadvantage car wise. So you really don't have anything to kind of lean on. You just kind of gotta relax and wait for the next pit stop.
And last time through 1 and 2, the 94 of Adam Velocio was just barely able to slide up in front of the 29. Almost got big there between the two. Now Hartenfeld's back to 5th there. Carlshed was able to get out in front. And, it's looking like that 29 seemed only to have a bit of short run speed. It seemed like once we get longer into it, it just seems to fall off fairly quickly.
Yeah, the one thing that I see him doing where everybody else isn't is he really takes a straighter approach to the bottom of the corner. Everybody else kind of dimes it in, or runs about a lane up. He's still driving in like he's on new tires, so it looks like he's getting really tight in the center of the corner, and that's really hurting his exit. And especially being back there, with some of these faster guys. Before, he was able to get away those first few laps. This time he was kind of stuck in the hornet's nest, and we saw how hard he was pushing with the 44 Michael O'Reilly trying to keep him by him. So he probably wore out his tires a little bit quicker than he did last time. So now he's almost struggling. He's almost in the same position as, ironically enough, the 38 of Shane Terrian, where he ran the good off his tires, as where Shane Terrian's trying to just, protect any good that's left on him.
He's going to lose another spot there to the 14 of Michael Fenelson. And obviously going in the wrong direction for that 30, or excuse me, that 29. And,
starting to see the 33 car back up really heavily too. This is that point in time where he's going to start getting eaten up by those new tires. Right now is when he wants a caution or be close enough, to pit stops, maybe short pit, and put some new tires on. Looks like that's what he's doing right now.
Yes, sir, the 33 Corey Hoover on pit road. The 29 of Austin Hartenfeld's going to follow down.
It looks like all the teammates come down. We've seen this before from all 3 of them as a team. They always seem to be the first 3 to pit, and it's almost worked out for them several times.
And that seemed to be about maybe a 25 lap run there, I believe. I believe we went back to green about lap 30 there. So I'm not sure if that's a bit short or if that's just where it's going to be here tonight.
Well, I expect the top guys, they'll probably be in anytime around probably from 25 to 30. That was kind of my guess at the start of the race. But we know how Michael O'Reilly likes to stay out as long as possible to use all those new tires good at the end of the run. So he's probably going to be one of the last ones to come in. But definitely going to be looking for everybody else to be coming in probably within the next 4 to 5 laps.
And we do know a couple drivers who seem to stay out much longer than everybody else, almost double what they come in at. We'll have to see if they continue that here tonight. We know Shane Terrian in the run for a championship. We'll have to see if he takes that same strategy. However, he did stay out that last run. This will be lap 60 here, so we'll see how much longer these guys run. But
yeah, with just about 100 laps to go, 6 laps from 100 to go, with those guys coming in every 25 laps, that's going to make this race extremely long for them with a ton of pit stops.
that 18 of Walker Thomas is coming down, but it was just the rear end kicking out there and having to slow up just a little bit to catch it. But so just looking drivers right now, it's just looking like the 3 RCA Racing teammates there, the 29, 33, and 28, the only 3 who have come down for green flag stops yet. Obviously, I don't think that's going to be a dictation, Michael, of when green flag stops are actually going to start. Because it seemed like these guys going much longer here. We'll have to see the exact number if we start seeing them file down.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where those guys that took the new tires, about 5 laps ago, where those guys are going to be, when everybody else comes out, how much farther they're going to be ahead.
I believe that 11 that just went by, the 11 of Jamie Dyson, was also down pit road. I believe maybe Joshua Adams as well, but so far 5 laps down from when they came in. Still staying out on the track, so kind of up in the air at this point when we're going to see the rest of them down.
Yeah, because they're probably about almost a second faster on those new tires.
I don't think there's too much of a benefit to coming in earlier, because obviously once you get later into the run, you're just going to have those tires worn off and the leaders come back at you. But maybe they have a plan that I'm not aware of in terms of how it'll all cycle out towards the end, should we go green to the end. And looking at times there, the 14 of Fendelson going to come down, as well as the 45 of Carl Schutz. So now we're seeing a couple more guys cycle out and coming down. This is lap 65, so about 7 laps later than what the RCA Racing teammates came in at. Walker Thomas as well has come down.
Looks like Michael LRR is going to be coming down next lap as well.
And he brings it down. Adam Blasio stays out. Joseph Tice follows the 44 in, as well as the 24. Tyrian's going to stay out, and again, we know he stays out much, much longer than the rest of everybody, or the rest of the field. And being about 3 laps, or being about 3 laps out longer than the rest of them. It'll be interesting to see how long he actually stays out for. One driver we know who also does that, the 14 of Michael Fendelson, but he's actually come down already. Might not be taking any changes here tonight, knowing what's at stake.
Yeah, that's one thing is, here at Texas, it's kind of difficult to get on pit road. You're running so fast, and at a point where you're running a little bit loose, you got to get it on a pit road. The really nice thing here is you have such a wide open, entrance. You just got to be really careful because you kind of can lose sight of where that commitment cone is. You definitely don't want to speed.
And now the 94 of Adam de Blasio bringing it down. One thing these drivers are also going to have to watch out for is just making sure they don't spin it coming into pit road. Don't see that too often, but definitely could be an issue tonight. You mentioned with the amount of speed they come down and just how aggressively they have to bring it down. So it's just, at this point, the 38 of Shane Terrian who's still out on the racetrack. Then it'll cycle out for the rest of these RCA teammates. Austin Hartenfeld's in front of the 3. Hoover second, and then Dyson third out of the 3.
The 38 still staying out.
So in terms of times between where the 44 and at this point 45 would be, it's about a second back Carl Schutz is. So just an idea of how close it'll be once everything cycles out here.
Looks like that 38 car is going to stay out another lap.
These guys again.
At this point in time, he's almost 2 seconds slower.
Always interesting to see him take this approach. Seems like he's really slow out of... thought he was fairly slow out of turn 4 there, or turn 2.
Yeah, you know, last time around, LRR ran a 29.1 and Therian ran a 31.9, so a massive difference there. Just curious on why he's staying out a little bit. Maybe hoping for a caution, maybe trap some guys down, maybe.
At this point, I believe everyone up to 13th is back on the lead lap, but again, we've seen him do this a lot throughout the season, but it's not looking like the same group of guys are trying the same strategy. Really, I think at this point, because I know it's on the line, but obviously Tarian may have some sort of a plan here that we're just not aware of. But staying out much longer than the rest of these guys and one more lap down. So Hartenfeld's coming fairly quickly. He's about 2 seconds faster than the 38. Again, closing very fast. Just to give gaps out. Hoover about 1 second behind his teammate there. Andy Glazik in 4th there. He's about 4 seconds back of 3rd. It's looking like Hoover or Hartenfeld's gained about a second there just down the back straightaway. Just to give you an idea of how much quicker he is. So it'll be interesting to see if once he gets past by this 29, if he comes down at that point, or if he stays out longer and just tries to double this fuel run. Or should say, stretch it out.
He's definitely going to be extremely fast, you know, when he comes off pit road. Just, I don't know, it's kind of an odd strategy.
He had to slow way up there for the, let's see, 37 of Tom's story there. As he goes by on fresher tires. And now he's going to bring it down here. So that was a good, I think maybe about 10 laps longer than the rest of these guys. Michael, as you said, he's going to be a bullet coming off pit road here with the fresh tires. Just, again, an interesting strategy.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to make that time up because, you know, he's most likely going to go a lap down here. You know, very odd strategy, but I'm sure, you know, he worked out in his head and has some type of plan. Now the real question is how fast LRR is going to catch the 29 of Austin Hartenfeld.
He's about 8 seconds back at this point. I'm looking at the times here. He's a good second faster than this 29 at the moment. Obviously, the 33 with about 7 laps older tires than the 44. So it's seems like about half the field on different strategies.
Yeah, it's very interesting. How many laps has it been since the 29 car pitted there, Justin?
I believe he came down about lap 57, I want to say. So
he's been out, you know, about 20 laps here. I wonder if he's going to stick to that strategy because all in all, this might not be too bad if he kind of has a fuel window idea. You know, say Michael Araya doesn't catch him, and you know, say the 25 lap window he has, then maybe that's his option of maybe winning the race. Maybe it comes down to, you know, right on the, you know, right when Araya is about to pass him, you know, the checker flag flies. So I'm sure they have it worked out here in their head how far they need to go and how, you know, how many laps they can make it on these tires and on the fuel here for the end of the race.
And one thing you're not going to want to do with these two teammates is start racing each other, because that's all that's going to do is bring the rest of the field that much closer, kind of put a damper in your strategy there a bit, because it'll affect how much track position you can make up the second round. But their teammate Ryan Dyson has fallen back to 5th at this point. Michael Araya just getting by.
Looks like Michael Fennelson is going to be making his way down pit road.
See, so again, another early stop here, this time for the 14. And he had just come down not too long ago as well.
Yeah, I think he pitted actually I think a lap later, than the 3 cars that pitted on lap 25. So extremely odd strategy.
At this point, I'm a little lost with what everyone's doing at this point. Everyone just seems to be on their own separate schedule at this point. But,
One thing, the 29 car of Austin Hartfelds and even the 33 car of Corey Hoover, they could be in their mind. This could kind of be a test pit stop here, seeing, if they pitted, say 10 laps earlier than Michael Araya, how long it would take it, take him to catch them, and how many seconds they put out and how many laps they could run, really timing it out, for the end of this race.
44 just going by this 32, but what a run it's been here tonight for Andy Glazik. Didn't make the grid, went down a lap at one point in the race, got a couple lucky cautions, back on the lead lap, now back up to 4th. Obviously still a long ways from the checkered flag, but seemed like he's in fairly good shape at this point. And with how silly these pit stops have been, it's been quite the ride for him, I'm sure. Few battles throughout the field there. Those are the 28 and 94, I believe. Adam Blasio was just going by. As it's looking like Dyson continues to fall here.
Yeah, that's where those new tires are really starting to catch up to him. I'm really curious to see where this 38 car is gonna come out. Right now he's officially unlapped himself, but right now, he's 1.5 miles behind the leader. With those 14 laps extra, he stayed out than those guys, and about 5 laps he stayed out later than Araya. So I'm just not quite sure that strategy is really the best one.
So Hoover's starting to close the gap now at this point on his teammate there, the 29 of Austin Hartenfels. That would be the battle for the lead. Michael Araya is not too far behind as well, about 1.5 seconds behind these leaders. My thinking here is when Araya catches them, they're going to be back down pit road. That's my guess. Have to see if that is going to be the case.
Yeah, because you got to think how far Michael Araya was ahead of these guys, before the caution or before the pit stop started. They were, I think, back there in fifth and sixth position, so they gained quite a few positions here and points here as well. So like you said, I wouldn't be surprised that as soon as he gets around him, these guys maybe wait like 1 or 2 laps and then come down pit road.
See, Araya is there at this point, using that high side that got him to second and the lead there early. And you can see both of them coming down now, so that was their plan. Saw the 29 lock them up just a little bit. Do not want to speed at this point. I believe, yeah, Ryan Dyson came down with them as well, so obviously a team strategy here.
How far did they go on that run?
Came down initially at lap 57, it's lap 86, so maybe about 30 laps roundabout there on that run, so it's looking like that's going to be their strategy here at this point, just a few laps later than really the rest of the field here. I think about 7 laps is going to be the deficit between them. Little blink there for the 44.
Yeah, if they
the
do
45, just about losing it off turn 2 there. He's able to gather it back up.
What a save.
I was just about to say that was looking like a battle that may have started to heat up there, and well, now he's going to have to work up towards his teammate yet again, Carl Shedis.
They might have to throw him in a new driver's suit during this pit stop, because he was looking directly at that wall.
Haven't had any chasers with any mistakes so far here tonight. As you said, Michael, that was on track for the first one so far.
Yeah, which is extremely impressive. These guys are all riding right around each other. It seems like if there's one chaser, there's another one, so on and so forth throughout so the points are extremely close. So, it's really big if one of these guys' strategy kind of works out a little bit different than everybody else's, gets a few more positions than maybe they were running all night. But I kind of did the math in my head there. If they keep on the 30 lap run, they have to make 3 more pit stops, whereas everybody else might be able to just do it in 2, or at least the 38 of Shane Therian. You know, he's the closest one to maybe doing it within 2.
That's why we call you the crew chief. So lap 90 here is still a fair ways to go here until we reach the checkered flag. About 70 laps here.
The one thing I do want to note, though, is this time when the 29 and the 33 car pit, they were both a lot closer. They were actually ahead of the 44 coming down pit road. So they were actually probably about 4 or 5 seconds closer to Michael Araya, you know, this time than they were last time. So if they do about the same, you know, before, they're probably going to be about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of where they were in front of Michael Araya. I think when they come out of pit road, they were about 10 seconds ahead. So if Araya keeps on that, you know, 7 lap longer stint, you know, those guys might be, you know, 14 seconds out instead of about 9-10 seconds. So that might be 2 more laps, so those guys could stay out later on. So, you know, as slowly as I go on, if the strategy works out kind of how, you know, it's kind of playing out in my mind, you know, all in all, it might not be a bad strategy later on in the race.
Also, Hartenfeld is just about to unlap himself. The 45, I believe, into the wall there. No, I'm not sure exactly that was. That was the 32 of Andy Glazik there. Taps the wall a little bit. So Hartenfeld has unlapped himself at this point. Seems like he'll be in great shape again once the 44 comes down. 14 about to do the same. Corey Hoover not too far behind as well.
Yeah, the more cars that they can get past the 44 car, you know, during these longer runs, you know, with those fresh tires, the slower his lap is going to be compared to those other guys. So with traffic and everything, it's going to be extremely interesting trying to call this one if we have no more cautions coming down to the end of the race.
There's only the early 2 incidents about towards the start of the race, and each was caused by turn 2, just drivers getting loose off, and unfortunately both some pretty severe engine damage, and both have left the session here tonight. That is the 51 of Bradley Burke, the 17 of Sam Close.
We have also seen, you know, before, you know, where I believe it was at Indianapolis, well, Finelson, you know, had such a good car, it made the 44 car Michael Araya change of his strategy, you know, and he still came up a little bit short. So I'm wondering if, you know, he's gonna have to change up his strategy later on in the week.
I thought he was going to come down on that time, but should be here not too far away here, the 44, and possibly the rest of the field here before too long. Walker Thomas hitting pit road there. Just to see if he may be the first one of these front cars here to hit it. Well, Araya going to stay out here once again, so it's kind of interesting to see as well, Michael, is this 94 of Adam de Blasio somewhat catching the 44 of Michael Araya at this point. Lap times are fairly even. That time, de Blasio was about 10th quicker, 2/10 quicker than the 44.
Yeah, the big thing there is he's having to dodge out those cars with fresh tires, so he's having to, you know, look in his mirrors, you know, drive the high side, you know, do you know those, do the, you know, really annoying stuff about being the leader, basically. But I think once he gets kind of clear, once he gets back to the bottom, I think we'll see, you know, the lap time start to get lower and lower for the 44 car, Michael Araya. Because you and I both know, you know, once you get stuck on that outside, you kind of lose your rhythm for the bottom. You know, because you kind of start getting in that rhythm for that top groove, and then with cars passing you, you got to be a little bit careful because you know they're that much faster. You know, and you don't want them to ruin your race. You know, you want you to ruin your race if you're going to do it. So, you know, you got to be extremely careful. You know, so you be a little cautious, especially when you know you have the dominant car.
Absolutely, and that gap still slowly closing. just a bit, but I don't believe he'll get there before they come down pit road. But remember, Adam de Blasio's first win of the season came at Las Vegas, another 1.5 miles. Unfortunately, was eliminated last week at New Hampshire. So what bittersweet it would be to possibly get into victory lane here tonight. But coming to about 66 laps to go here, just hitting a lap 100.
To kind of put it into perspective, you know, where we're going to line up when everybody kind of pits, the 38 car is going to be back out front, and the 29 car is going to be in second. But right now, we're about to have a change for the 6th position, which is the battle between the 38 and the 29. So really, the 38 strategy, he never once had the lead during this situation. So really strange, pit strategy. But like I said, if he's trying to eliminate a whole pit stop, that's the only way that I see this working out.
As you can see, the 29 of Hartenfels getting by, and now the front 3 coming down pit road, the front 4 now. And this will cycle everyone around, it seemed like, besides the 38 of Terry in there. So Araya, de Blasio, Shed, and Tice all bring it down pit road, and that will hand the lead back over to the 29 of Austin Hartenfels. It's a very good pit strategy being played here tonight. Can't really tell where everybody is at this point. It's so shook up. Coming around to take lap 102. And it's looking like everyone cycled around for the most part. So they're going to step away just a quick second. Here's your top 5. And we'll take you to the green, or take you to the checker as we come back. Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway here tonight for the London Recreational Racing 200. First race of round 2 here, really the round that decides who's racing for the championship. And out front at the moment, the 29 of Austin Hartenfels, but the man who's been really the fastest all night, the 45 of Michael LRR, watching under brake. He's coming in quite the hurry, setting a blistering pace through the field here, and the two in front of him are the two really he's competing against tonight. Really that competition being done on pit road at this point.
Yeah, about 4 different strategies, on the racetrack right now, and none of us really know how the outcome's going to work out. The only thing that we know for certain is that 44 car is extremely fast.
Lap times are he's got about 2 seconds on the 29 of Austin Hartenfels, the 44 does. But still, again, 4 seconds behind, but that gap closing very quickly. I believe it was about 5 last time around, just to give you an idea. Now we're
about to cross over right now into where Hartenfels would be 30 laps from his last pit stop, and he's about 5 seconds ahead. So all in all, his strategy, whatever he's doing, is still managing to work out.
Yeah, Fenwelson is on pit road, so gives you an idea of how close they are. This is gonna be the question of if they run it until until Loriah gets there, or if they just come down earlier. I believe Hoover maybe slowing down like he was coming down, but yeah, Loriah at this point 2.5 seconds back. And if he at this point, if he doesn't win
looks like the 38's coming down. Oh, looks like it's going to be a close one.
Tarian is down there. So, interesting to see when everybody else starts to bring it down.
I'm going to say I think the 38 car got caught speeding.
We'll have to see if he brings it down again. If so, that's going to be a pretty big blow here tonight. Unless we get another caution, I don't think it's going to be a good way to rebound from that.
If not, that was one heck of a pit road entrance.
So Loriah around Hoover there.
So I think we'll see Hoover pit this lap.
Does not. He
Maybe
stays
not.
on. At this point, they've been doing it all night. I think they may just all come in together. Brian Dyson, however, I don't believe is going to come down when they do. He's already a lap down. I believe he's already made his stop.
And the 38 was not speeding. That was one of the best entrances I've ever seen.
Trying to get all he can, Michael, knowing what's on the line here tonight. And now you see the 11 of Jamie Dyson going down on that bottom lane. And here comes the 44 of Michael Araya to the inside. We saw last time, once he got there, Hartenfels brought it down and was not able to get it there that time. I have to imagine they're going to pit this time.
Yeah, he's definitely going to blow by him there on those newer tires. But I want you, if you get a chance, Justin, to kind of show everyone that pit entrance by the 38 car there.
See how good we can get it here.
Because you want a definition for everything he got. That's everything he had.
This is when he comes down. Wow. Almost slid it into the grass there, and you can see the tire, or the skid marks there. Definitely. All you can get.
Yeah, I just happened to be watching him when he came in. I couldn't believe that he wasn't speeding. Looks like with a 29 cars coming in this time.
And Hoover actually not going to
staying out there.
He's going to stay out. He's not going to follow the 29. Not sure if he wasn't able to with his 94, or if he just is on, at this point, trying a different strategy. This will be very interesting to the end here. 45 laps remaining here tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a long way to run. We haven't seen these guys run this long. So I'm curious if they're going to pit one more time, or if this is it for them. We know that Michael Araya can, if he stretches it out, to lap 30, it'll or 130, it'll probably be right about the same, same laps he's been running. So it's really not a big, deal for him. But the 29 car is definitely a different ball game.
Absolutely. With the speed this 44 has, I think all the 29's got is pit strategy in terms of getting the win tonight. Because just how fast Michael blew through the field there, getting back to the 29. As you said, he's just in a totally different zip code here tonight. So Hoover off pit road there. Somehow, they're all going to line up. Well, they were lined up all 3 in a row, but now Hoover falling back to 11th. So Sloraya out front at the moment. De Blasio second, Carl Shed third, and then Joseph Tice fourth, Walker Thomas fifth, and Raleigh Grant Davis sixth. Those 6 cars still needing to come down to make their stop. Question is, how long are they going to stay out to make this possibly a final stop? As you said, Michael, it's probably going to have to be around 30 laps to go. The question is going to be whether they choose to stretch it that long.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to turn out. It's definitely going to be interesting. The one thing I got to say is I think the 29, the 33, and even the 38 with the strategy that they have there, I definitely think it was a good move. Definitely a top 5 strategy from those guys.
At this point, I think we're just going to have to watch along with you because these guys have been, seem like changing their strategy all night. An example of that is the 33 Corey Hoover, who stayed out a lap longer. Obviously, it's looking like hurt him track position-wise. He's back to 10th. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make it all the way back up. You can see the 38 of Shane Tarian just in front of them. Shane fighting with the 28 of Ryan Dyson, was not able to make the pass. Here comes the 33. That was close. So now Hoover gets by. See if Dyson puts up any sort of a fight here with the fresh tires. Fifth changing hands there with Raleigh Grant Davis and Walker Thomas. Davis just getting by there. How long these guys are staying out here, Michael? I think that what we said was probably the strategy they're going with, waiting until 30 laps to go to make the final stop.
Yeah, I think that's his best strategy. He's had the best car tonight, and I don't think he's going to have a problem running these guys down.
Oh, he's going to bring it down here. Actually, 38 laps to go. He's going to hit pit road. De Blasio is going to stay out, so as quickly as we said that, he brings it down. It's going to be interesting to see. This is probably going to be his final stop. I don't know if he come down any more after this. So.
No, unless there's a caution, I'm pretty sure this is going to be it.
37 laps to go. Michael Rye brings it in. We have to see when this 94, 45, and 5, as well as the 18, hit pit road with what should be the final stop. So Araya just rolling off pit road there. Hartenfeld's back on the lead lap here. It's just going to be a matter of waiting for these guys to bring it down again for their final stop. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. We know that the 29 pitted in about the 40 lap to go mark. About 45 laps to go, so it's going to be a very interesting finish to see who gets the win here at Texas. I mentioned the pressure has ramped up, and it seemed like with that, these guys taking a bit of different measures here tonight to try and get all they can and try and get that all-important victory to lock themselves into the final round, the most important round here as we go into it.
It looks like the 44 car is going to be stuck here in slower traffic. But the one thing I do have to say about the
the
car is
contact!
going to crash.
The 44 into the wall! Heavy contact, the front end very well destroyed.
What a turn of events here. Brady being a little more aggressive than he needed to be. Not something we see out of the 44 car. We're going to have to see how bad that damage really affects him.
He's got a lot of damage there, Michael. That's looking pretty severe. We'll see what happened here. It looked like he just tried to get to the side of the 94 to get that run. Possibly didn't know the 28 was there. It looked like the 28 started coming up the track. I'm sure he didn't know the 44 was going to pull out that far.
I think, another situation, I think maybe the 44 car, got a little bit of the, the whiff of air from the car that was ahead of him there. Might have got just a little bit loose. And when he corrected it, he corrected it down the track as the 28 was coming up. So I'm just not sure that the 44 car, Michael Araya, would have made it 3 wide there, especially with everything on the line, especially with knowing that how good his car is.
Heavy damage on both sides, so that's definitely going to be a turn of events here tonight. The fastest car on track, basically, with some damage here. That'll be a interesting shakeup here. The 94 did bring it down pit road, so Austin Hartenfeld's to the lead. But it'll be interesting to see, because again, they pitted very, very early. Not sure if they're going to have to make another stop here, or if they're just going to run it towards the end. But Ryan Dyson has brought it down pit road. Not sure if he's repairing damage. No, he's just coming in for a scheduled stop. So with those fresh tires, Lariah, it's not all too quick at this point with the damage he's received. Only about 0.2 faster than Austin Hartenfeld, who's went in much earlier. Michael, as much as we preach patience here tonight, obviously getting close to that checkered flag, 30 laps to go. There's not much time left for patience.
Looks like something might have happened to the 38 car there. He's extremely slow as the 44 car goes by him, even with all that damage.
I saw he got a little bit loose in turn 2 there. It seemed like right as he entered the corner, the back end snapped sideways.
So it looks like the lead is about 10 seconds to Austin Hartenfeld. So we're gonna have to see. Oh, this is gonna be even better than I thought it was.
Right, is closing the gap down still. That's just the fresher tires he has at this point. It's going to be a very interesting finish to this race. Not knowing really anybody's strategy at this point, whether the 29 is going to stay out for this full run. If he does, I'm not sure he can make it all the way and still be able to hold this lead off. However, with that damage, Michael Araya is definitely slower. It's going to be the question of, is he going to be able to catch it back in 28 laps?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be all about those tires from this point on, and just seeing if those tires are going to be able to pull off the deficit of his damage on the front.
Mentioned the heavy hits. Just looking on board there, you can see the damage to both the left and the right side of Lariah's car. The fastest on track, and just a little bit of contact there with another car sending him into the wall. Unfortunately, all that damage, but again, still looking like fairly quick around here.
Yeah, but it's really just going to be a question on when those tires start to give up to that damage on the front end.
Absolutely. Going to 25 laps to go. It's just going to be the question again. Can he catch up all that time with all that damage? Mentioned you want to minimize mistakes here tonight. Obviously a big one for the 44 of Mariah. Just kind of monitoring the gap at this point with Mariah to the leader. Closing in on about 8 seconds here. All those cars going around with fresher tires around the 29 there. Really no threat from behind for Austin Hartenfels. His teammate Corey Hoover about 4.5 seconds back there in second. Mariah slowly closing that gap up to him, 3.5 seconds behind. Just this point, just Michael gonna have to rework the finish of this race in our heads and how close it will be, because we thought at that point Mariah was gonna walk away with it with no problem. Obviously now it's looking like maybe a bit more difficult here.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like I said, it's really going to come down to those tires. If those tires can stay, you know, better than the 29, then I think the 44 can pull it off. But if they ever start to even out, that damage is just going to be, I think, just bad enough.
He has closed it down to about 6.5 seconds at this point with 22 laps to go. It'll be quite the feat if he'd be able to get back up here with all that damage he has and somehow be able to pull it off here tonight. Again, this win is going to lock you in to the final four running for that championship, the final 3 races, and get you a free pass through Martinsville and the all-important Talladega. A few battles just behind these leaders.
Anchor extremely loose and almost gets into the wall. Yeah, the 44 car definitely isn't catching the 29 car as fast as he was. He's just a little bit faster.
It's about to close it down to about 5 seconds with 25 laps to go. Or excuse me, 20 laps to go there. Looks like he'll get to Corey Hoover and see if they start racing. And the caution is out.
Caution comes out.
The 11 of Jamie Dyson around on the French straightaway, and this changes everything.
I think this is really bad news, I think, for the 44 car, because now he's going to be stuck with everybody that has new tires on it, and, you know, he's going to have that heavy, severe damage. So it's going to be definitely a difficult, you know, restart for him, but definitely live for the 29. He's been really good on the short runs.
Oh, we can already see a bit of contact between, it's looking like the 11 and the 14.
What a job the 14 did, you know, saving it. You know, he's got a little bit of damage, but, you know, that was a championship hopes right there, you know, smashed in front of him. So good on him. You know, a little curious on why the 11 was trying to force that issue.
Absolutely. But as you said, the 14 gets away, and
you know, he's got some damage, but, you know, it could have been a lot worse.
Everyone.
This is a big boost for the 38 car. You know, I think this is the caution he's been waiting for.
Absolutely. In 5th, and it's going to even out everybody. Question's going to be, does Michael or I repair all that damage? I have to imagine so. And Michael, I think he's got a fast enough car to be able to work through the traffic there.
Yeah, we're gonna have, you know, we're gonna have, you know, somewhere around 15, you know, a little bit less than probably about what, 13 laps to go when we go back green.
Somewhere around there, yeah, probably 15 laps to go. So, oh, the turn this race has taken. Hartenfeld's off first there. Speedy pit stop, 13.6 seconds. Hoover out second. I think he tried to play some games there, but course, Lariah is still stopped here on pit road, just repairing all the damage he can.
And I think the games might have worked. I think the 94 car is going to be stuck on the outside there, and the 33 car is going to be right behind his teammate.
Yes, he is. So I thought Hoover had lost 2 spots. I thought the 38 got by as well, but he did not. And Hoover going to start on the inside. So
yeah, the 44 definitely still has a ton of damage on that front. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to, if you're able to fix it all, you know, in the short time between these guys coming around and lapping. Yeah, definitely a crazy turn of events, and something we just don't see from the 44 car, you know, that often. But I think, you know, later on in the season, we've kind of seen more and more of, you know, the mistakes from him that we didn't see earlier on in the season.
absolutely, I think that's the first mistake I've seen him make all season, and comes at the worst of times. But just gonna have to see how much it affects him for this finish. The lowest he can go at this point is about 12th. So
Yeah, if he's one of those bubble guys at Talladega, it's definitely going to make things extremely difficult.
absolutely, that's definitely not the position you want to be in. Just trying to regroup here and just kind of think of that all that's gone on here tonight. The games that have been played and the finish. It's looking like it's going to be maybe one of the most exciting here of the season. So Ryan coming back out on pit road here, or off pit road. You can see the damage he still has. He was really only catching those front cars with the fresh tires he had. I think with everybody equaled out here, Michael, you said it might be game over at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something we're going to have to watch. You know, like I said, it was a massive turn of events. You know, like you brought up a good point there with everybody on equal tires. You know, we're going to have to see the pace of that car.
And you can see the lights on the pace car out, so we'll be going back to green with 15 laps to go. Here at top 5, Hartenfels, de Blasio, Hoover, Tarian, and Tice.
I think the big winner in this could be the 24 car, Raleigh Grant Davis. If he can get a good restart and just sneak himself right to the bottom in front of the 18 of Walker Thomas, you know, that would put him in front of the 44 car and the 14, which are 2 very strong cars, you know, that he's battling with in this championship.
We saw last week how cautions could breed cautions and ultimately got that 24 up to the front. Sitting 6th at the moment. See if he can try and sneak up there yet again, possibly steal another one at this point. It's kind of anyone's game.
Yeah, definitely going to really be a, you know, extremely fast and furious. About what's 17 laps to go when we get to green.
It's going to be about 15 here. Green flag back out. And a great start by that 29. Easily out front. Now Hoover trying to get around de Blasio there for second. The game is being played on pit road. Works. He's up to second.
And the 24 car did just like I thought he would. He got a really good restart there, and is now on the bottom in front of, you know, really good competitors there. We're gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to hang on to that as the 94 is going backwards. You know, these guys might be able to pick up another position here and just boost their way into the, you know, into the final 4 here with a good run.
One guy, of course, gonna have to keep our eye on. Here's that 44.
Oh, and the 38 car gets really tight in the center of the corner on that 94.
Everyone just jockeying for positions there. The 45 of Shed underneath the 24 of Raleigh Grant Davis there. Hopefully he'll have a run to make it work.
What a good job by the 24 of Raleigh Grant Davis there on the high side. I would have thought for sure that the 45 car was going to be able to get under him.
Now Tarian underneath the 94 of de Blasio there. Side by side down the backstretch. Shea gonna try it again underneath the 24 of Davis there. He's got the 5 of Joseph Tice just ahead.
Well, looks like we're going to be 2 by 2 right in front of him as well.
Really nowhere to go on the bottom there. It's looking like Tarian will get that 4th spot away. 45 of Carlos Shed now going to get by his teammate, Joseph Tice. Davis to the bottom as well. Really no ground being made up by that 44 of Wyatt. It's looking like it may just be over here tonight. This has been quite a battle here, this mid-pack. And
again, they're right next to each other. The 18 and the 24 are right next to each other once again.
See Thomas around the outside there, and how good of a run he's going to get down this front straightaway. As good as it is tonight, that high side, haven't really seen a lot of guys try and work it tonight, besides that 44 of Lariah.
Yeah, you know, it really seems to be hit or miss on how you enter the corner. What time at exit you're gonna get where your tire marks kind of are. But we have seen it work, so we're gonna have to see later on, coming to 9 to go, if it's gonna make a big difference on who wins this race or not.
9 laps until the checkered flag falls. Austin Hartenfeld still out in front, about 0.5 of a second in front of his teammate of Corey Hoover. Just about loses it, exiting 2 there. It's going to be a battle between the RCA Racing teammates at this point.
I mean, and they're both almost running identical lap times. Last time one of them ran a 29.297, and the other one ran a 290. So 0.7 of a second's not that much. Coming down to this little of a race.
It's getting very close here in the back, fighting for any positions they can get here, closing in on the end of the race here. 2 Apollo Bros Racing teammates at it there, the 5 and the 45, and Davis just behind.
Looks like the 24 car is going to get a run on the 5 there, take it down low, try to drive it past the 5 car. Looks like it's going to get a little tight. Oh, it's going to be extremely close on exit.
Davis just trying to get all he can here towards the finish to help him towards the final 2 races here.
It looks like he might have to drive it down into 1 here if he's going to go ahead and clear that 5 car. Oh, it looks like he tried it. He's going to get a little tight. What a great battle between these two. Looks like he's going to drive right up in front of him. The 5 is going to go the crossover, and the 24 car is going to go ahead and block it. And the 18 might be getting a shot at the 5. That was a great move by Raleigh Grant Davis, and then being able to slow it down in the center of the corner and block the 5 from crossing over.
And Thomas almost into the grass to try and get his nose underneath the 5 there. He will get to the inside, so he will get by the 5.
Oh, but the 5 car is going to come by on the outside. What a run off the corner.
And up front, this 29 of Austin Hartenfeld is just slowly pulling away. 0.7 of a second he has over his teammate there, of Corey Hoover. Boasio about 0.7 as well, back to Hoover. 4 laps to go. Michael Araya just sitting 10th at the moment. And obviously we see how equal tires played out for the damage he had.
Yeah, that caution was definitely the worst thing for the 44 of Michael Araya. Had it stayed green, I definitely think he still had probably a top 3, finish. But with everybody on new tires, it was just not going to work out in his favor.
The battle for 4th here. Tarian and Shed going at it, just trying to get that extra point here, exiting the night.
It looks like there was a little bit of contact.
Two laps to go here tonight. That gap is actually starting to close up just a bit here. Not sure if Hartenfeld's made some sort of mistake, or if Hoover is just putting on the afterburners here but it's back to 5/10 now. It was 4/10 when they went into 1.
Such a good battle here for fourth place. You have 4 cars, within, probably half second. Oh, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of contact between the 45 and the 38.
But the white flag is out here. Shed just trying to do anything he can to get by. Off turn 2 here. It's looking like Hoover may run out of time. But Hartenfels won the opening race of round 1 to get him into this race. Now coming off turn 4, he's got a shot to run for the championship here. He wins at Texas.
Oh, look, what a good battle there for fourth.
And Tarian just barely holds on to the 4th spot. Carl Shed comes home 5th. So 1 car down that we know of who will race the final 3 races for the shot at that championship. Only his 2nd win of the season here, and it seems like he wins at the most important times. His first win got him in to the 2nd round, and now his 2nd gets him in to the most important round here.
Yeah, that's going to leave a lot of points that the 44 car, Michael Araya, is going to have to make up because, the person that's in 4th right now in the standing is Carl Shed, and he finished 5th tonight, and Araya is back down there in 10th. So definitely going to be a claw because I believe that did Carl Shed lead a lap tonight?
No, he did not, so...
So that that puts, and I think did Lariah end up leading the most lap?
Yes, he did. He comes home with 69, and Austin Hartenfels comes home with 62, so almost narrowly gets those laps led.
So right now Lariah is 5 behind, and you give him 2 points, 1 for leading the lap and 1 for leading the most laps. That puts him on the same page as Walker Thomas, who's 3 points behind Carl Shed, and 3. So we definitely have a whole bunch of people within 4 points of that spot. And then there's Talladega, where everything could go for nothing.
Absolutely. So, well, we're going to get everyone rounded up here real quickly for post-race interviews, and then we'll be right back to talk to those and tell you where everybody finished. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway here tonight. Just finishing up the London Recreational Racing 200 here. And what the interesting one it was here tonight at Texas. So we'll take you through where everybody finished. Austin Hartenfels ends up getting the win and locks himself in to round 2 here tonight. Or round 3, I should say. Corey Hoover going to come home second. Adam de Blasio third. Shane Terry in fourth. Carl Shedd fifth. Joseph Tice sixth. Raleigh Grant Davis seventh. Walker Thomas 8th, Michael Fenelson 9th, and Michael Raya, unfortunately, going to come home with 10th, had arguably the fastest car here tonight. And it'll be Ryan.
And then we'll have Ryan Dyson in 11th, Tom Story in 12th, Jamie Dyson in 13th, Andy Glyzak in 14th, Joshua L. Adams in 15th, Bradley Burke in 16th, Jacob Adams in 17th, Samuel Close in 18th, and Jake Watson rounding out the field in 19th.
All right, so now we'll bring in our winner here, the 29 of Austin Hartenfels. Austin, you got us?
Yeah, loud and clear. How you doing?
We're doing pretty well, and I have to assume you're doing very well as well. You seem to win at all the right times and get yourself into the next round the quickest. And didn't seem like you had the quickest car here tonight, but you were up front when it mattered.
Yeah, Lariah, the 44 and 33, my teammate, were definitely faster than me on the long run. I just couldn't keep the tires on it after 15 or 20 laps for some reason. I was burning the right front up. But I got a couple really lucky cautions, and the pit strategy I was on with my teammate, we were both on the same strategy, and it turned out I think Lariah ended up getting damage, and I think that was the reason he wasn't as close to us as he was at the end. But it looked like he got into some bad luck, but Lariah was going to win. The 44, I think, was going to catch us both on the long run. Those cautions played out well for us. But yeah, it was I wasn't expecting to have that kind of finish tonight because I didn't have the speed, and I was just looking for a top 5 and move on to Martinsville. I'm pretty good there. I'm hoping that we can get something done there. And then Talladega. That's the good thing now is that with the round is over, or with the round 1 now, I don't have to worry about Talladega, the unknown.
Yeah, that was a great race for sure. And one of the things that you brought up was, that you thought the 44 was going to catch you. Did you kind of see a recurring path kind of when you were coming down pit road and how long it took him to catch you? And what was going through your mind? I saw you stayed out longer and longer each pit stop.
Yeah, it was going well. The strategy was working, and that last time that the 44 he pit like only a couple laps after we did, and that because I think he saw it was working, and he changed his strategy up a little bit, and that really hurt us. It would have hurt us if it went green, because he was. That means he had, I think we only had it was 6 laps after we pit, so he would have had about the same or fresher tires than us, so he would have caught us pretty quickly at the end. It was going very well, and I was pretty happy about it up until that point. And I was a little worried at that point because I knew he was going to get to the 33 and I pretty quickly because we had to run another 30 or 20 laps on our tires. So, but he got into some bad luck. I don't know I guess their lap traffic or something, that he got some damage, and he had to fix the damage on that last caution, which also was really timely for us. So that the cautions played out really well for us with the strategy.
Well, congratulations, and it was definitely a hard-fought win. You definitely, showed a lot of strategy there, and all in all, it worked out. So congratulations, and welcome to the next round.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, so now we're going to bring in his teammate who finished second here tonight, the 33 of Corey Hoover. Corey, you got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, well, it seemed like about dead even with your teammate there and come home second. And I'm sure you can't be too difficult or disappointed about that, knowing what's ahead with Martinsville.
Now, with the way my oval season has gone this year, excluding road courses, this feels like a win. I've had the worst luck, whether it be connection issues or just flat out having no speed. It feels good to come home second. I wish I could have maybe found some more speed in the end to catch him, but we were pretty much dead even.
Yeah, that was one thing I was noticing there. Towards the end, you guys were at one point. I think your one of your laps was 7 thousandths of a difference. And that just wasn't close enough. But it's extremely impressive how close you guys were. All night. You guys seemed to run the same lap times every lap. for 160 laps almost, you guys were nose and tail. So definitely a great team effort, and definitely a good way to start this round. With that being said, do you take a different approach going into Martinsville, leading a Talladega? Are you just going there to, are you going there to, try to win the race? Or are you more worried about, getting past Talladega?
Well, Martinsville's been one of my better tracks. I think I always love the short tracks. Have a couple wins there. So just Martinsville's all about where you qualify, and if you can qualify up front and then run up front, especially with how far you can go on tires, unlike the mile and a half we've had this season. So if you can qualify up front, you got a pretty good shot. Just got to stay out of trouble with the lap traffic. I'm just gonna take it as it goes. If I'm up front in Martinsville, then obviously we'll go and try and win, and I hope I can get the win because I don't want to go into Talladega and fighting for a spot to go to Homestead.
Yeah, like you said, you seem to be good at those tracks where it involves, more or less the left pedal. So we'll definitely be looking for you to, have a good finish there. And congratulations on your second place. And it's definitely nice to see you up here on the ovals with as much bad luck as you had.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's nice to be up here. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're going to bring in here the 94 of Adam Blasio now, who finished third. Actually, I don't believe, I think he's having some issues here. So we'll bring in our fourth place finisher here, the 38 of Shane Terrian. Shane, you got us?
I got you.
All right, well, it had a fairly interesting strategy tonight, to say the least. It seemed like you were trying to just eliminate a pit stop here tonight, but overall, it worked out for you with the fourth place finish here tonight.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep trying this strategy. I feel like one of these times is going to pay off, but it worked better than I thought it would. I'll definitely take fourth, especially finishing ahead of a lot of chasers, but one of these times the strategy is going to work.
Hey, I feel you on that one. I thought I knew what you were planning to go for. And then once it started going on, I thought maybe you were just tired of the car being so straight since you're used to it being sideways. And the later you went, the more sideways the car got. But, you seem to have a really good, strong start to the race. What was going through your head, as you were kind of starting to think of the strategy and those guys were all starting to pit, 10, 15 laps before you were even thinking about coming down? Did you think about changing your strategy, or was it just sticking to what you thought was going to be the way to go?
I thought that last stop, that if I pitted around 115-ish when I did, that Corey or like Austin, they wouldn't pit to like maybe around like 130, 135. Give me a better, bigger gap between them, and then I was hoping for a caution because at that point I knew my strategy was not going to pay off because they were just so far ahead of me after that first run that it was just really hard to make up. But it was kind of stressful, but it kind of worked out.
Well, it was definitely entertaining to watch. You always bring something different to the broadcast, and we always enjoy watching you. So, a good fourth place finish, and a definitely good way to start off the next round in the chase.
Yeah, definitely. I needed this because Martinsville is not a good track for me.
All right, so now we believe Adam Blasio is good on his end. Just adjusting to our new Discord here, so we'll bring him in. The 94 of Adam de Blasio here. Adam, you got us?
I do.
All right, well, it seems like you always shine here on the mile and a halfs, and tonight, very good here tonight, finishing third and running up towards the front really all night.
Yeah, I surprised myself qualifying on the outside pole tonight. I had no idea I could do that in this league. Usually I can't even make it past round one, so that's always a pretty awesome deal. But after the first caution, I just got into a groove, and I passed Carl, who's usually the other fast guy, along with Lariah, and I saw I was running Lariah down. That was only good for 1.5 to 2 runs, and then on the final run, before I made a pit stop, he smacked the wall behind me, and I was keeping an eye on the relative in front of me, and I was catching him. So if that race went green, I think I could have really won my second race of the season there.
Yeah, that's one thing we were really, paying attention to, especially when Michael had his problems there on the backstretch. Where did you find this speed from? You showed it in practice, you showed it in qualifying, and showed it through the race. It looked like you at one point in time you were the second best car, and then once Lariah, like I said, had his problem, you became the number one objective of the guys that were in front of you worrying about you. So is it something that you kind of picked up from being behind somebody, or was it just something you kind of just got into a rhythm?
Um, I didn't really. Yeah, I think it's more rhythm based because Texas is my favorite 1.5 mile racetrack, and there's a certain way you need to drive 1 and 2, and then a certain way to drive 3 and 4, and uh, I've done NIS races at Texas in second split, and I've finished in the top 3 in that. So I just really like Texas, and I know how to drive the place.
Well, it was definitely a hard fought third there, and congratulations.
Yeah, it stinks because um, I felt like I could have won it if it went green to the end there, but that's what racing is, and I knew Austin and Corey are very good on the short run, so hats off to them. I've yet to find short run speed. I tend to do better saving my tires and stuff, but I I want to thank you. Oh, I want to do the thank you list now since I haven't done one of these in a while. First off, I want to thank Ryan, uh, Joseph, for putting on a good league. I enjoy racing it. I always enjoy the Cup Series. I want to thank you guys up at FMTV. Wait, that's not the right Full Throttle TV. Sorry about that. I I don't know where I got that from. You guys always put on a good show. I enjoy watching the races afterwards in my free time. I want to thank my teammates Carl Shed and Joseph Tice. They were encouraging me there at the end, and I don't know if you saw my new paint scheme tonight. So I had a Syracuse University paint scheme. I actually graduated there last year. Now that's 2017. I can say that. They gave me a great education, and yeah, so yeah, it's a good night overall. Podium finish.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight. And Michael, confusing night tonight for strategy, but overall it kind of all worked out itself. And the final 20 lap to go caution just kind of settled everything down for the finish of the race here.
Yeah, one of those nights where you got to definitely watch to the end. You and I both thought even the guys that were in the front top three, they thought they knew who the winner was, and he just had one little incident, maybe pushed the issue a little bit. We really don't know what happened, but definitely changed the outcome. And then we had that short caution, and then it really, definitely made the rest of the race interesting. So you got to watch till the end. You never know what's going to happen. But again, another great UpperEdge race.
Absolutely. So one driver locked into the final round here. That driver is the 29 of Austin Hartenfels. He gets a free ticket through Martinsville and Talladega, possibly the most important race to get a free pass through. So that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight. Encourage you to watch our Wednesday night Truck Series race there. That's going to be the final regular season race there. And then next Thursday is going to be Martinsville here for the London Recreational Racing Cup Series. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. From Michael Skinner, I'm Justin Colby. Thank you for watching here tonight, and we hope to see you next Wednesday.
Hasta luego.